Hi, first grade friends. This is Mrs. Amundson, first grade teacher at Shady Lane. I am here to teach today's math lesson for Tuesday, April 6th. I hope everybody's doing great. Today, for our lesson, you will need just a couple of things. First, you would want your math packet, and you will need page T1. It looks like this, and it's at the beginning of the math packet. You would want something to write with. I'm going to use a whiteboard and dry erase marker, but paper and pencil is just fine. You may need your fingers and definitely brain power to help you out along the way. So today's math lesson is all about adding in not in strawberries. We are adding in story problems, and we'll be working with adding up to 20. And so the penguins are back. We'll be using our friends the penguins to help us solve some addition story problems. Along the way, we'll come up with an equation, write it down, and then that might be a great time to pause the video and work it out and explain your strategy to somebody who might be nearby. And then after, we'll talk about some of the strategies you may have used or may not have. We'll see what you come up with. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at the top of that T1 paper. You can see there are some penguins on an ice ledge and the number 5 underneath. I'm going to read that story problem to you. You can follow along with the words, or you can listen and hold on to your number thinking as I do that. So here I go. There are 9 penguins standing on the ice waiting to dive in, and 5 penguins already in the water. How many penguins in all? Well, I'm going to check the picture to see if it can help me out a little bit. So let me just make sure. It says there were 9 penguins standing on the ice ledge. Let me take a peek. Oh, that looks like 9. I see a group of 4 here and a group of 5 here. 4 and 5 makes 9. That makes sense. And then the story told me that 5 penguins were already in the water. I don't see any penguins swimming, but I bet that 5 means that they're swimming down below. I'm going to hold on to those numbers in my head. Let's work together to write an equation to help us work out that story problem. So I know that there are 9 penguins standing on the ice, so I'm going to write a 9 on my paper. I'll just work right on here. It seems to work out really well to be there. And then I know that there are 5 penguins already in the water. And since we want to know how many in all, that word in all tells me we're going to be putting something together, I'm going to use the plus sign. I'm going to write plus 5 equals some number. I'm going to use a box because that's what we're trying to figure out. So this might be a really great time in the video to pause it and work it out. See if you can use a strategy to help you, and we'll be back after you pause it. All right, if you pause me to figure out the problem, you would be back. And let's chat for a minute. How many of you figured out that 9 plus 5 is equal to 14? Awesome. Now, let's talk about some ways we could have done that. So I'm thinking, if I start at 9, maybe I'll just use my fingers and count on. Counting on from the bigger number is a strategy we've been working on for a while now in first grade. So let's hold on to that big number, 9, and count on 5 more. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 penguins in all. I'm going to show you another strategy that you could use, or maybe you did use, to help you solve this problem. Maybe you use tally marks to count on instead of your finger, and maybe you just drew them right on your paper or right on your worksheet. So I'm going to do it like this. Let me hold this up. So I might say here's 9 penguins, and I might draw a tally for each penguin in the water. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Another way to check. For some of you, this might be a known fact, or you may have used our strategy where we work with adding 9s. You might have said, well, I know that 9 is a lot like 10. 9 is really close to 10. So I'm going to take one from the 5 and give it to the 9, and 9 becomes 10. and that 5 becomes 4. Oh, and that's a 10 and some more. So you might say, I know that 10 plus 4 is equal to 14, and that's just like 9 plus 5. Awesome. Let's take a peek at the next one. The next problem says, there are 8 penguins standing on the ice waiting to dive in, and some more penguins in the water. There are 12 penguins in all. How many are in the water already? Ooh, we're gonna have to figure out a missing number for this one. So let's think about that equation. We know there are 8 penguins standing on the ice, and we know there are some in the water. That's why there's a question mark there, but we don't know how many yet. So we're gonna solve for that. We're gonna write plus some number. We're gonna put a little box there to show that that's the number we're gonna figure out, how many are in the water. And we know that there are 12 in all. So now we're going to work on this one. 8 plus some number equals 12 penguins in all. Now would be a really great time to stop the video, try out a strategy. Maybe it's counting on, maybe it's using the picture, maybe it is adding tallies, but try something right now to help you figure out that missing number. Take a moment to stop the video. All right, if you've unpaused me, you probably figured out that 8 plus 4 equals 12. Now, for some of you, that might be a known fact. Maybe it's a fact that you've been working with a lot this year as we work on numbers to 10 and 20, and you already knew 4 went in that box to make 12. Awesome. Using a known fact is a great strategy. Some of you may have said, I know I have 8 penguins here, and I know I have to get to 4 in all, so maybe you counted on. A strategy we used before, you could count on with your fingers. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 4 fingers are up as you counted on, so we write 4 in the box. Maybe you drew the penguins in the water as you counted on. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All great strategies. If you came up with a different way to do it, share with somebody at home. All right, friends, one more to do together, and then I'll send you off to practice on your own. The last equation at the bottom of page T1 looks a little different. There's a question mark on top of this, in front of this hill, and there are, it looks like 5 penguins swimming in the water. Let's find out what we're gonna try to figure out here. Let me read it to you. You can listen or follow along. There are some penguins hiding behind the hill, waiting to run out and jump into the water. When they join the 5 penguins in the water, there will be 11 in all. How many are hiding behind the hill? Wow. So we have to find out how many are hiding. So that's the number we're starting with. We don't know the starting number yet. So we're going to go ahead and write a box because that's the missing number we're going to try to figure out. We know that box means some are hiding. We don't know yet, but we're going to figure that out. We know that there are 5 in the water. They're going to run out to join them. We can actually see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to add 5 more penguins. And we know that when those penguins run out and jump in the water with them, there will be 11 in all. So our equation is telling us some number plus 5 equals 11. Now, I'm trying to think, what number goes with 5 to make 11? Now would be a really great time to stop the video and see if you can come up with a strategy to help you fill in the missing number. All right, if you've unpaused me, you're back. Let's see. If you work this problem out, how many of you wrote that 6 plus 5 equals 11? If so, that would be the missing number in that box. Great job. You may have a lot of different ways to solve this, so let's talk about a couple strategies you might have used. You might have said, well, what if I started at 5, and if we use that counting on strategy, we could use our fingers again and count on from 5 all the way to 11. So let's do that together. Let's hold on to the number 5 in our head. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Do you see that I have 5 in 1, 6 fingers up? There's my missing number, 6. I could also count on right here, right on the picture or on my paper in front of me. So I see there's 5 penguins there. I could count on using tally marks. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And look at that, 4 here, 2 tally marks here, 6 in all. Those are my little penguins hiding behind the hill. You might have used a doubles plus or minus 1 strategy. You might have been looking at that and said, hey, I know that 5 plus 5 equals 10. So if I just add 1 more to that 5, that becomes 6. And 1 more to that 10, that becomes 11. So you might have used a doubles plus or minus 1 strategy. Wow, that was really exciting. I hope you had fun working through those problems. Here's your job. After you turn off the video, you're going to go to the next page in your packet. It's called, or it says page 42 at the bottom, and the backside is page 43. See if you can take a little time to use the strategies we practiced to help you solve more swimming penguin problems. Remember, we can use a known fact. We can count on using our fingers, count on using objects, or count on using tallies. You might also use another strategy like adding doubles, plus or minus 1, or just using a known fact. Don't hesitate to reach out to me or your first grade teacher if you have any cool strategies or if you have any questions you want to ask. Make it great. Be amazing. It was great to see you guys and work with you today. Happy mathing. Bye.